Are you dissatisfied with government? Polls show most people are. The problem is that they don't know what to do about it. Fortunately, we now have the technology to reform and redesign it online, with e-initiative and referendum initially, creating a real democracy, an e-democracy. When we do that, we can optimize satisfaction with government and optimize quality of life thereafter. Please view this video and join the Reform and Redesign Government online group at the end to begin implementation. Thanks. Let's begin by redesigning California Online by adding e-initiative, referendum, and recall to its existing system. This would help, I think, greatly to resolve its otherwise intractable problems. Our representative government system was designed almost 250 years ago and is now basically outmoded. We now have the technology to represent ourselves directly online, and we certainly should. When we adopt e-democracy, our satisfaction should improve greatly, and with it the quality of life. We should start with the initiative, referendum, and recall. Hello, I'm John Sir, retired architect and sometime urban designer and teacher. I've been working on e-democracy since 1970. The public is now so dissatisfied with the performance and cost of government that reform may finally be possible. I certainly hope so, and I hope you will agree. So here are our current problems, which really are not being solved. Great recession and so on, you know what they are. Who would vote for any of these if they were given the opportunity? Here are some long-term problem trends. Probably the foremost of these would be population growth. Forecast for year 2050 is for the population to be 9 billion people. It seems pretty clear that representative government is not adequate to cope with that. You may have your own list. You may want to pause to look at this in more detail. The solution then is to link everybody together online and then redesign society for the optimum quality of life. You can do that by adopting the initiative, referendum, and recall, then move on to redesign the government online for e-democracy. We can fully inform all people there. We can monitor the quality of life continuously. We can act to maintain it at the optimum level always. Can solve our pressing problems and create peace, prosperity, and sustainability. In representative government, values are imposed top-down, so the overall quality of life is never optimized. In e-democracy, the people themselves define the benefits continuously, so the value of the design and the quality of life will always be optimized. This is a scientific government, as the optimum quality of life can always be verified online. The design process illustrated here can be speeded up and improved online, particularly with use of animated graphics, models, and simulations. The IR&R process is similar. It should be available to any citizen, online or off, not just the moneyed special interests who can afford to pay signature gatherers now. That's the major stumbling block to its current use. Also, it would enable voting whenever citizens were ready rather than at regular election times, speeding up response to problems. Pause if you want to examine this in more detail. Among the benefits we could expect people to agree upon with EIR&R are an end to the recession promptly, preventing future panics with full information online, creating full employment and ending underemployment, focusing on peace and ending war, creating an e-prosperity, increasing tax revenues and paying down the deficit, fully informing all people online and making them self-reliant and self-responsible, reducing government and expanding freedoms and creativity, and many others. Some background. Democracy goes back to Greek times, of course. This idea of John Locke at the time of the American Revolution can now be carried out online. So that idea led to the American Declaration of Independence, of which Thomas Jefferson was a primary author. If you read through it, it sounds remarkably appropriate to today. Here's a quotation from the beginning of the Declaration. You may want to pause on it and pay particular attention to the second paragraph there. Jefferson was also an architect. This is his design for the University of Virginia. This idea of Jefferson's can now be carried out online. People can be well and fully informed, and they can be entrusted with their own government. Buckminster Fuller has been a major influence with his design science revolution. He proposed the computerized world game to optimize the design of the entire world. This included a competition versus cooperation game in which cooperation always produced the highest total score. That's important today when we're thinking about optimizing the aggregate quality of life. In the 1930s, he proposed to vote by phone. In the 1960s or 70s, he proposed continuous electronic referendum. He was probably best known for his design of the geodesic dome. In 1992, Ross Perot ran for the presidency on the Reform Party ticket and proposed electronic town halls then. He didn't win, and he has not pursued the idea since, unfortunately. Today, there is some interest in e-government and in e-democracy, especially in the EU and the UK. Here in the US, there is Senator Gravel's National Initiative effort. This was primarily to be by conventional ballot, but it has added an online capability lately. The current administration tried the Open Government Initiative. There were many good ideas submitted online, but they were unable to collate them into a meaningful form. What's needed is E, I, R, and R to do that. So here's how we can do that. In places having I, R, and R, such as California, we pass an initiative amending its constitution to add the online version. This would include some 23 U.S. states, Switzerland, and so on. In places without either conventional or E, I, R, and R, they should add both. Then we can undertake the rest of the steps shown here. Pause on this for closer inspection if you wish. And for more, please visit the I&R Institute or the Ballotpedia websites. To implement this change, then we need to form a group and agree upon a plan online using e-democracy procedures. We need to raise funds, we need to advertise online and off to bring the idea to the public. We need to overcome natural resistance to change by assuring a win-win solution for all. Then to assemble a voting plurality to vote the change in, either here in California or in the U.S. By a vote of the Congress, because we have enough voters to do that. Then apply and optimize the quality of life thereafter. So please join this group and let's begin the process. Thanks for watching. Here's some additional information which may be helpful. Let's all join together and let's implement this reform and redesign government process online as soon as possible.